watching the It's Her Time podcast with Cody and Jess. Welcome back to the It's Her Time podcast. I am so excited because today I have an incredible guest. Many of you know her already from social media, and she has her own incredible podcast that she does with her sister, who's also an amazing woman. And we're going to have a really fun conversation today. Today, we're going to talk about how important it is for us ladies to ditch perfectionism and to just embrace our fully awesome selves. You're going to maybe wonder how this even applies to this podcast, because usually we talk about health. But let me tell you, girls, perfectionism is destroying our health. It's causing so much unneeded stress, and it's time for us to give ourselves a little bit of a break. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we go into this fun episode, let's join Jess for a Mixers Girls Say.
Today on our Mixers Girls Say, we're actually going to chat through some of our most frequently asked questions, whether those are things sent to us through DMs on Instagram, question boxes, from you asking questions on our podcast, or questions that we get in person. So, Cody, what are some of the most frequently asked questions that you're asked?
I get a lot of questions about what products I recommend. I get questions about who should be taking what product. But there's a question that comes up all the time that I wish I always had more time to explain, because I'm actually really proud of people that ask this question. And that is, why do you use natural flavors in your product? And that seems like maybe a weird thing, because you're like, natural flavors, that sounds perfect. That sounds really good. The reason people are wondering is because, unfortunately, not all natural flavors are created equal. All right. So I'm excited always when people ask that, because it means that they're reading their labels and they're caring about what they put in their body. And I'm always excited to share with them that we care too. Like, we are very, very picky about what we put into our formulas, because we know that what we put into your bodies is going to directly affect your health. We want to support your health and not diminish your health. So when it comes to natural flavors, there are actually 3 different types of natural flavors. You have natural flavors that are mixed with not natural flavors, some synthetic flavors that are kind of similar, but don't come from the actual natural, let's say, fruit or whatever it is that's flavoring it. The next level is that you have some natural flavors, and then you have maybe some artificial coloring and things like that are added to that. The next level, and this is what Mixers uses, is that we use natural flavors that come from the actual fruit. Okay. All of our flavors for all of our products, whether it's a juicy peach or it's a restful raspberry or it's so many flavors, Pina Berry Babe, it comes from like a literal peach. It comes from the actual fruit. And so there's nothing else added to that. Because we have we have multiple options of different flavors on our packaging. We can't go through and name every single individual flavor. So we have to, in order to comply, we have to list it as natural flavors. So I get why there's confusion there, but I do want to make sure that you all understand, and feel rest assured knowing that we're only putting in the highest quality ingredients. That comes down to flavoring. That comes down to our sweeteners. That comes down to the actual active ingredients that are in every single formula.
A frequently asked question that I get is, what is in the pipeline and what is next for the business of Mixers? And while I won't be telling you what is in the pipeline, because there are a lot of incredible things coming, and there's even existing projects that are just going to continue to scale our current products. For example, our main focus right now is just continuing to spread the word about Her Time. All women should be using this product. It will benefit every woman. And that's our main focus, is making sure that that product is seen everywhere and recognized nationwide. And so we're progressing there. Another thing is that we do have other products in the pipeline. Mixers will be expanding our product line. And with that also, people commonly ask if we're hiring. We're not currently hiring to the public. We have some internal hires going on, but what we love about the Mixers team is, honestly, we are a family. It's a sisterhood. It's such a unique experience working elbow to elbow with these women. And stay tuned for if we are hiring.
Yeah. And if you are interested in maybe applying, we will always take applications, and you can send it either through our DMs, or I'll put a link in the show notes where you can email that to. We're always looking for women that can get behind the passion and the vision that we have for Mixers. We want women that are talented and good at what they do, but more importantly, we want them to have that same passion that we have and have the great vision that we have, so that, every day when they come to work, they are feeling fueled to just do their very best. And that's what we have. We're really lucky. We've got an amazing team.
Yeah. So thank you for this Mixers Girls Say, and now we'll get into the episode. Mixers is a company made for women by women. Each of our products have been carefully and lovingly crafted to support you in all stages of your life, providing you with the optimal health you deserve. Each ingredient we handpick is 100% all natural, backed by science, and chosen specifically to better your life physically, mentally, and hormonally. Each product empowers your body to take charge of its monthly hormonal shift and flows, empowering you to live life to the fullest. Let Mixers take care of your needs from sunup to sundown, and you take care of the rest. Check us out at mixers.com, MIXHERS.
Okay, we're back.
Yay!
This is Emily Engemann, and I want Emily to say hi to you ladies and just tell everybody a little bit about how awesome you are.
Oh, what an introduction. Oh my gosh. Well, I am happy to say hello to you for sure. I am happy to be here. And a little bit about myself. Well, my name is Emily Engemann. I love all things happy, healthy lifestyle, happy, healthy living. And I know that includes a lot of things, but I think more than anything, it just boils down to just some daily things that we have to do. But anyway, I'm a mom of 5. I do have a podcast called Little Bits of Awesome. I have a fitness app because I think movement is medicine. And I do a lot of dancing on social media. Because I think dancing is part of health.
It is.
Right?
Movement is an essential part of health.
Absolutely.
And it's a huge part of joy. It's a way we can express ourselves.
Yes.
And the way you just described all the things that you love, if I was to describe Emily, these are the words. They would be healthy, joyful, full of life, somebody that can really show us how to make the most of our life and how to make it more awesome and enjoyable. And Emily's also known, if you're not watching us on YouTube, go and check out, I'll put her contact information in our show notes. Check out this girl's hair.
You guys,
are you sick of everybody telling you about how awesome your hair is?
Who turns down compliments? Not me. But I always say it has had some ugly years. So I'm embracing it today, and maybe it looks cute today, maybe.
Oh, it always does.
Boy, it's been a rough journey, but I think I've landed in kind of a cute place right now. But, the curly hair came during puberty, which you might understand with hormones. And boy, that was just like, wow, okay. I was going in for a perm, and they're like, a perm? And I thought I had an old perm from fourth grade.
Oh, you thought it just was lasting.
I thought, boy, this is the longest lasting perm I've ever heard of, because it was now 7th grade. And she was like, no, when was that perm? I said, 4th grade. And she's like, you know what? You have curly hair. And I was like, what? I don't think anyone in my family had curly hair. And it went wild.
Yeah.
And it went ugly.
No.
Because back in those times, no one knew what to do. They didn't give me any beautiful curl creams or oils or anything. So, it's been rough, but I think it's kept me humble. That's what I think.
Started you out on the humble path.
Oh, yeah. For sure. For sure.
It's true. Those tools can help.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. An old lady like me needs
to
have a nice head of hair, I guess.
It's a crown of glory, for sure. Something to be proud of.
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, anyways, as you heard, she does have a podcast called Little Bits of Awesome. You do this podcast with your sister, Kass.
I do.
Who's also a ball of energy and fun and health. And tell me why you guys decided that you wanted to start a podcast all about Little Bits of Awesome. What does that mean to you?
Oh my gosh, that is a loaded question. No, just kidding. We have, both my sister and I have been and are fitness instructors and have been for, I think Kass has got me beat by a couple of years. Our mom was a fitness instructor. But we know, so we loved helping to inspire people, motivate people through movement and through exercises and group exercise, and bring the party there. But mindset, we know, is such a huge thing. And this was I think right after COVID, and we just felt like people needed a little bit more positivity in their life and just something they can tune into that's not going to be heavy, because I think there's some awesome podcasts out there for sure, but sometimes even the great ones can be kind of heavy.
Right.
And so we just wanted them to be like tips and tricks to apply that are very applicable to your daily lives to just improve your life and to train your brain to see the awesome in every day, because we know it's there if we choose to look for it. So that's I think it was just kind of like, we wanted to give more. We love making people smile. We love helping people just create the life that they love. And so the podcast, we hope, is just kind of a little bit of awesome in people's day.
Right.
Yeah.
And a way to remind everybody that we actually have so much power in our lives and how we create our lives. And I think that probably came from so many people asking you girls about how it is possible that you guys seem so happy and joyful and positive all the time. Because I get it. Not everybody, I think it is a personality thing that we're born with, but I also think it's a learned behavior. And I do think that that's an important message to share, is that sometimes you're going to have a day, you wake up, you're feeling down, and this is totally natural.
Yeah.
And it absolutely can be caused by life circumstances. It can be hormonal. There's a lot of things that can contribute to this, but our mindset, like you said, and our ability to choose our actions, the way we move our body, the people we surround ourselves with, all of these things is actually very powerful. And
and very possible.
Very
possible. Yeah. I mean, Kass and I have a very colorful past, and it came with a lot of heartache and a lot of heartbreak. And so I think we learned young and early that things happen out of our control, and we need to, if we want to be with what's been dealt to us, we could be very, very sad and be sad always, because we've had this and that happen to us, but that didn't feel good, And so we learned early on, it felt good to make others smile. Like that to me is like one of my most healing things, when I feel like I'm picking somebody else up, no matter how I feel, it heals me. And so, so I think we just learned early on that it is something that we can train ourselves. And, if you implement things every single day, it can become very much who you are. So I just think over time, we were determined to, no matter what our life looked like or what had happened to us or what continued to happen to us, we wanted to feel happy and we wanted to help others be happy. And so,
I think that's awesome because again, like what we were just talking about, it can be a learned skill. I will call it a skill, not even just a behavior.
Yeah.
And most people that I know, and for me personally, as somebody who is always called a Pollyanna, it's not that we've always had this easy, happy life.
You're called a Pollyanna?
I get called a Pollyanna.
I'm not even sure I know what that means.
Do you really not?
Yeah.
I'm not that much older than you, am I? It's a Disney movie.
Oh, I thought maybe it was like a peace, happy, lucky girl.
Oh,
no.
Well, that's a good one.
Pollyanna's a Disney character?
A Pollyanna is a great Disney movie.
Oh,
I can't even think of the actress's name, but anyhow, she's just this little girl that also has been dealt with a lot of trial in her life. And yet she just always sees the glass half full. And she's just out there being like you and like making everybody feel better.
I need to get to know Pollyanna.
You need to watch that.
I had no idea.
Go watch that movie. It'll just brighten your spirits.
Thank you for sharing.
But anyways,
yes,
it actually isn't an insult, but I think people mean it sometimes to me to be because they think that I'm forcing positivity. And I'm not about forcing positivity.
No
I think
way.
it's so important for us to actually feel our feelings and the whole range of our feelings and recognize that, yes, sometimes life just really stinks and we're just given circumstances that are absolutely not fun, not something that we can or want to smile through. But what I have learned, and it sounds like this is exactly what you have learned, is that the way to heal sometimes when you have these tough things in your life that everybody has, it's through getting away from yourself or out of yourself and putting
100%.
Your energy into helping others. And I find that whenever I do that, it's like I can't be in a bad mood because I start to recognize that everybody out there has something that they're going through. It's not just me. And so then it makes you feel like you're not so alone. It's maybe not as bad as it seems, or maybe it is that bad, but it's not going to last forever.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember when my dad passed away. And of course, that was like the lowest, saddest, hardest time of my life. And this may sound silly, but I remember just telling myself, okay, like you got to go to Target, you got to go to the grocery store, you got to kind of keep doing the things. But if I can just put a smile on my face and make the clerk or the cashier or whatever at Target smile, like that's going to make me feel better, you know? And so it was just like little by little. And some people might think it's like, you know, fake it till you make it. I don't know that I love that phrase, but I do understand that it's kind of like sometimes going through the motions of happiness, whatever that looks like. I think it's so important to kind of continue with those things that before the hard that did bring happiness into your life, because it can do it again.
Right.
And so I think like when you're out and about and inside, maybe you're hurting or you're carrying this really heavy thing, knowing that others, like everyone you come in contact with has a story.
Yep.
And probably, you know, like it's real and probably current, some type of pain. And so just putting that smile on and just kind of going through the motions of happiness, your body starts to respond like that. And then knowing that you are lifting someone else up in their hard time, even a stranger, feels so good.
It does.
Yeah.
It absolutely feels good.
Be a Pollyanna.
Be a Pollyanna, girls. Go find out what that means.
That's right. Oh, I can't wait. Education coming my way tonight.
Yeah, you know what you're doing on your Friday night, date night.
Honey, turn on Pollyanna, get me a cookie and drink, and let's go. Yeah.
Yes, you'll love it. I promise. I actually kind of what you just were talking about, how sometimes feels like you're just faking it till you make it. But I do think that when you kind of establish like a routine, I'm going to call it a routine of happiness. You have some habits that you continually practice on a daily basis, no matter what your life is looking like in the present moment. I have found that when I can practice these kinds of things every day on a daily basis, then they really come into play to help support me through the really tough times.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Oh,
so I would love, I've talked a lot on this podcast about what my daily routines are. I love meditation. I'm all about having some quiet time. I love good self-care rituals. I have to exercise daily. Those happy endorphins really help give me a lift that I need. Surrounding myself with really fun people that make me laugh. Laughter is like, in fact, I have a fun story I've actually told on this podcast before about your husband.
Oh, yeah.
And
he can bring out a good laugh.
Yes.
That's for sure.
He was my best friend growing up. And it's so fun. And I love that now that I have Emily as my friend too. I had a lot of illness as a child. I was in the hospital quite a bit.
Didn't know that.
I know, maybe you never heard that before. And I remember one particular time I was in the intensive care unit and I was in there for a couple of weeks and was not doing well. And the nurse, I got a phone call and the nurse brought me in a phone.
You're kidding. No.
And it was her husband, Ryan, who called me.
Oh,
and I had this fever.
cute.
I know. I had an infection that was really hard for them to get on top of, and they couldn't figure out like what I needed. Anyways, while I have all these monitors all over me and everything. While I was talking to her husband, Ryan, he got me laughing so much. I mean, I was laughing with tears coming down my eyes.
I'd love to know what he was saying.
I can't remember,
Probably
but
doing voices and mimicking something, some type of impersonation. He's really good at that.
He's just good at making people feel joy. And so, and as I was talking to him, literally on the monitors, you could see my temperature going down. I was probably 10 years old, maybe 11 years old at the time. And I remember this was one of the things in my life that made me like, whoa, the body is so fascinating.
Yes.
Like they're trying to give me all of this medication, which obviously I needed as well. But laughter is actually what was able to like help me to be able to start like going into a healing process.
That is incredible. I did not know that story, and I'm going to have to remind Ryan.
He might not even remember that
story.
You're
a healer, Ryan.
He is.
You're a healer if you're listening. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I totally digressed. I totally digressed, but it just made me think about.
You're kidding. You mean like in the hospital? Like
No, I mean in our conversation.
I thought he was, you mean like went down to a heavy thing?
No,
I thought
I'm
you
just
meant
saying
like
we were
Ryan
talking about.
healed me with that laughter for 5 minutes. I shot right down. I plummeted, but it was good while it lasted.
Good while it lasted. No, not the story. I improved from there on out.
Yes,
so, a little more laughter.
That was a turning point.
Laughter is a healing modality. That's all I'm trying to say here. So I'm saying there's these nice things that you should be implementing on a daily basis. And when you really need them, don't forget about them. Start utilizing them. Stay in these kind of daily routines that really can help support health and healing. And so I would be curious to know, Emily, like what are some of the things that you would say are some maybe daily habits, daily routines? What is it that you do to kind of keep filling your cup of joy? What is it?
Well, I think you and I are very, very similar when it comes to the things that we do every day.
Yeah, good.
But and we talk about this on our podcast all the time too, like life-changing things or improving your life really do come down to your daily habits and what you're doing. And it's so important to prioritize that. And of course, life is busy and things get thrown at you and thrown on your plate, all the time. And you have to learn to shift and adjust. But I think having some kind of non-negotiable, Kass always says that, like there's just certain things that are non-negotiable that you do every single day that will keep you on that path and just kind of protect you from things that come at you that are heavy or overwhelming or whatever. So I wholeheartedly believe in daily habits. Of course, exercise has always been top of the list. I have depression on both sides of my family, like severe depression on both sides. And both of my parents always exercised every single day growing up.
So they modeled that for you.
They modeled that. So it was something that I just naturally kind of moved into it. But then as you get older, I mean, you can very well fall off the bandwagon and never pick that habit up again. So I'm grateful for their example. But of course, we still have to do the work and we have to make that our habit too.
Right.
But, so movement is a non-negotiable.
Okay.
Food is huge for me too. I don't weigh anything. I don't count anything. But I just really try to focus on foods that make me feel good and foods that are going to support the energy that I want and the way that I want to feel and show up in my life.
Yes.
Food is huge, right?
Huge.
And I love a big, fat, chubby cookie. And I always say chubby because don't give me a flat cookie. I want a chubby cookie. Chunk. And I'll do, of course, moderation. That's another thing. Like, I don't like to implement habits that are extreme, that are not maintainable because I think healthy living is forever.
Yes.
And so
it has to be sustainable.
It has to be sustainable. And then I need to probably do more meditating like you, but I do give myself quiet times, and even if it's 5 minutes, but it's just like kind of away from the chaos. I have 5 kids, there's a lot of things going on, but giving myself that quiet time just to kind of, and I might not even be zoning out and doing all the appropriate things, but at least it's like a breathing time, right? To just kind of like
that is all
align my body a little bit. And then connection is huge for me. And I have a beautiful family and a lot of them live at home with me. So it's not hard for me to be connected, and to interact with people. But I know that there's people probably listening that don't live with people, And so if I lived alone, I would make sure that connection was a huge daily thing, whether it's calling someone on the phone or getting out and going on a walk to a place where you could even interact with strangers or whatever. But people are just, they make me happy and they help me feel my best. And it allows me to uplift somebody too, so it could be in an act of service too. But I would say movement, food, a little meditation in my own way, and connection might be
the top
things. Yeah. Did I touch on all the things important?
Well, I would agree that all of these things are incredibly important.
Sleep.
Oh, sleep too.
Oh my gosh.
Good.
Sleep, as I get older, Cody and I had the privilege to go away this weekend or last weekend together, and sleep was not prioritized, I will say.
Are you still feeling it a little bit?
Oh my gosh. I've been telling myself this week is a week of recovery.
I know.
That's what I'm telling myself. So I'm moving a little slower. I'm not making myself get up at like a certain, it's just like letting my body, because we were going to bed at like 3 or 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Not
and good. Sleep is just critical.
Yeah.
I just can't even, what the average person gets like 5 or something?
You know what? They need between like 7 and 9 hours of sleep as women. But yeah, I don't know what the average is. I just know for me personally, I used to not think it was that big of a deal. In fact, I kind of think I felt like I was maybe bragging that like, I can function on like 3 to 4 hours of sleep.
I'm a superwoman. Give me 3 and I'm good to go. I can take all you on.
Now I totally admit I am a baby grandma. I want to go to bed.
Baby grandma
I am. I want my naps and I want to go to bed as soon as the sun goes down.
Yes.
And I have to do all my things to like get myself ready for that delicious sleep.
Yes.
It's something that I appreciate more now and I definitely make more of a priority. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh, yes. I mean, I could not root for that more. And sometimes I wake up and I've only been awake for an hour and I think, boy, I can't wait until I get to do that again.
I know.
But it just is so important. And you really do have to like, talking about daily habits is like implement things in the evening that support that as well. And preparing yourself, the self-care, the washing the face, the reading, the things, to kind of wind down, disconnect, and prepare yourself for that delicious night sleep.
I know. It's the best. We should start having sleeping retreats.
Yes.
Why did we not do that?
Wow.
Like, everybody
Wouldn't that be interesting? Sounds kind of weird.
Go to bed. That's true. That is a little weird. But in my mind, I'm like, I would go to that. If
we were in the right place, and it's just hammocks everywhere.
Hammocks and pillows and blankets.
Yes. And it's just like, all it does is call for sleeping. Yes.
Little mountain brooks.
Start it, Cody. Okay. I'll be there.
Next time.
Put me top of the list. Yes.
Anyways, I love all these suggestions because they are huge priorities. I love that you brought up too connection. That's something that as mixers, we're all about helping support women's health and hormones and happiness. And we're big about community and connection because people always question why that's such a big, important thing for us.
Right?
But it's because we get a lot of you girls that write into us and share. Thank you, by the way. We love that we have a community that just talks with us and we have these these conversations all the time. But they let us know that many of you are feeling like you are very lonely and that you are disconnected, that you don't feel like you have this core group of people. So it's like, it's so important. We want to create that for you. We want to create it with the podcast. We want to create it with our community that's like a kind of like a Facebook, private Facebook type community where people can go in and communicate and ask questions and all of that. Also, we do these events. We have a really fun event that's coming up. If you live here in Utah, or maybe you even want to fly in and join us,
we have
a really fun event that's coming up in July. It's on July 21st and you're invited.
Well, good. I'll be there.
And of course, we're pink. And so we're going to have fun with the new Barbie premiere that's coming out. And so everybody's going to come dressed in pink. Anyways, everybody's invited. But let me tell you this. Let's say that you want to come to this event and you're like, but I don't know anybody and I don't have anybody that would want to come with me. This is what I love now about this community and the connection that has been created and that you're so good about creating around you is that women will get onto this little private group that we have. We call them Mixers Girls. And they'll say, hey, I want to go to this event. Is anybody going? Do you want to meet me? And they'll arrange to meet each other in the parking lot and walk in together. It's the
adorable.
Cutest thing ever.
I love that.
We have the best community ever. So I love that. But with all of that.
But I want to challenge.
I want to
challenge the people. Because you are right. Mixers, best community ever. Just so inclusive and beautiful.
That's so nice.
But true story. But if people are feeling lonely, and they don't have any friends or anything, I do challenge them. Like there's so many ways to connect with others and like-minded people nowadays, of course, social media, but Facebook groups, so like reading groups, craft groups, walking groups, like every type of group you can imagine. It does take some bravery to put yourself out there to connect with others, but it is so worth it. And you are like, people understand, they feel that same way and they're looking for that as well. And they want to create that space. So I would say you are worth it. You do not need to feel lonely. It is so possible to find people that want to have a community just like you, but you have to kind of look for it and take that initiative. But it's so worth it because we are created to connect.
I agree.
And so that's my challenge.
I love that. I love that. And also be the person that maybe you need to be the person that actually invites.
Mhm.
I know when I first moved from California back to Utah, and I didn't really have a lot of close friends. And I remember starting a group that I called Fresh Air Fitness Fridays.
I
And
love
it's a lot of fuzz.
Yes, it is.
It was
It's
to
the
build
triple Fs.
friends. And I was like, I want to meet women out there that like to hike and go out and do fun, outdoorsy, active things. And I literally had the best women that just were looking for an opportunity to connect. Everybody, you know, trust me, if you're feeling lonely and you're feeling like you want to connect with a group, there's other women out there that are feeling the exact same way.
Absolutely.
So start something and just watch how it grows. And you know what? Know that there's something here at Mixers for you, and we want you to come and join us. And I know that Emily and Kass go to their exercise classes, go and join them wherever. There's lots of fun things.
There are. And it's just, once you connect like that, it just gives you an opportunity to tell your story and let some of your frustrations and things out, because then there's another voice to hear in a support system. And so you kind of have to open yourself up. And like I said,
vulnerable.
It takes some courage, but it's so worth it. And then so freeing, and then so good for your health to have something like a passion that you're tapping into, number one, because that's going to bring happiness into your life. And then people that you're tapping into, that's going to bring more happiness into your life. You're just going to be healthier overall.
They find, you know, when they've studied the blue zones, right? That's one of the key things that will attribute to people living longer. They study centenarians. And what is it that they all have in common? Well, it's connection. So I think we've beat this horse, but
you get it.
You get it. Yeah, it's an important thing. With all of these great healthy habits, healthy and happy habits, I would say. I think also the key message that I want to share with all of everybody that's listening today is that it's not about having to do everything, and it's not about doing it all perfectly. Because you made the comment like, I meditate, I try to meditate, but I probably don't do it right. Well, no, there's no right or wrong way to meditate.
That is true.
So, you know, don't put that perfectionistic expectation on you. Let yourself
what a burden, you know, to carry. And I think, unfortunately, we are kind of, I don't know if it's like we're programmed, or we're just kind of, because there is so much exposure into other people's lives through social media these days, all of a sudden we're seeing and we think we know the full story. And we're like, well, they're doing this and this is how they do it. And my baby needs to sleep this long and whatever the things are. Yes. And then you start comparing, and that is just like the worst for your happiness, you know, because you can't be like that person. And the sooner that you can just like embrace your own unique situation and do it at your speed and how it best works for you, and kind of eliminate that perfection. I mean, because of like kind of the crazy lifestyle that I came from, you know, I learned very early on, unfortunately, like my family isn't perfect. My life isn't perfect. And the sooner I ditch this ideal of like what life is supposed to look like and just do my best to control what I can control in my little space, not comparing to anybody else, the sooner I'm going to be happy, the sooner I'm going to be able to create a life that I love and that works for me, and not always racing to compete with the next person, and give myself some grace. And, you know, it's just like so freeing, you know, and so possible. And it's just like, you kind of have to look inward and be like, okay, I'm catching myself comparing in this area and this, and I'm putting the like ridiculous expectations on myself and on my relationships and all of these things that just are not manageable. Again, like you have to like create a life that is manageable for you, you know, otherwise you're just never going to be happy because you can't meet up to those expectations,
those
you know?
Unrealistic expectations. And you know, they say comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, 100%.
Right. And so I find oftentimes when I'm feeling down or I'm feeling frustrated, if I can take a moment, maybe it's when I'm meditating, I'll kind of dig a little deeper and kind of take a look inside and see what it is that my thought process is looking like. And a lot of times I'll catch myself in a pattern of comparison. I call them expectation hangovers. I don't know if you've ever heard that term, but
no, but
it's
I
like
believe
when you have this, you see what it is that you want in your life, and then you're comparing and saying, I don't have that in my life. It can feel like almost like a hangover. It is very disappointing. It feels discouraging, and it really can mess with your mood. and how you show up in the world and how you, interact with others and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I've had to learn how to get out of whenever I'm going down a downward spiral like that and recognize, okay, I am totally in a mode of comparison.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm feeling like this. This is why I'm just like a bummer person to be around right now. And so if you can kind of get out of that little negative, I don't know, trajectory,
Mhm.
you'll find that you're going to be happier. You're going to be more pleasant to be around.
And that you're doing okay,
and that you're
you
doing
know?
you're doing the best that you can. That's what it's all about. It's
It
our
kind of,
life.
oh, sorry. It
Nope.
kind of triggered like something that I kind of implemented like probably 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know if this goes against, your policy. I don't think
My
it does.
policy.
But,
I'm not sure what that means.
I stopped weighing myself.
Oh, I'm all for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
I got rid of any
Good.
scale. I stopped weighing myself probably 7 years ago. And it was like one of those things like you're in a great mood.
Yeah.
You're doing fine. And then you step on the scale and it tells you
Mhm.
otherwise. And then that just shifted my mood. And now
Yes.
I'm grumpy because for some reason I think I'm supposed to be a certain number or
Right.
a certain size or whatever. And I think it's like a perfect example of like just life in general, right? You're kind of going along and then you're doing fine. And then you look over there and she's doing it differently. And somehow you think that's the only way.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just ruins your mood and it ruins your happiness. And then you're all the self-doubt and all of that gets inside of you. And so, you ditch the scale of life.
Ditch the scale of
Ditch
life.
the scale of life.
Seriously.
Because it just can put a damper on everything.
I know.
There's no perfect way.
And what
There's
a
no
silly
perfect
thing
size.
to like
There's
determine our happiness, right?
It's crazy.
Or our
'cause
success.
Everyone's stories are so different. Why on earth would we think that we should be doing it just like the next person? Because we learn and we come up with our own ways from our own experience,
Yes.
So it's not like the next guy.
Well, and that's what life is all about. We're here to have our
Mhm.
own experiences. We're here to learn what we're meant to learn. We're here for our own purpose. I really believe that we are here for a purpose. And if we start getting so distracted and looking at what other people are doing or how they're living their lives, then we're missing out on the many opportunities that are coming our way
Mhm.
to shine the way that we're supposed to be shining, to lift the ways that we're meant to lift. And to learn the things that we're meant to learn. And so, comparison and all of this, weighing
Mhm.
our self-esteem on a little scale, all of that
Yes.
is something, if that's something that you're noticing maybe
Mhm.
is not contributing to your happiness, ditch it.
Ditch it.
Ditch that
Ditch
perfectionism.
the scale of life.
Scale of life.
You
I
can
love
put
it.
that on a shirt if you want.
I
think it's pretty powerful.
Hashtag.
That's right. Make that go viral for me, would you?
And make
Okay.
sure you say in quotation marks,
Yeah,
Emily Engemann.
said it first, right here on the Mixers podcast.
I love it. I
Yeah.
think that this is such a fun and important conversation.
Mhm.
And I could seriously go on and on and
I
on
know, how
about these kinds
fun.
of topics,
Mhm.
especially with you.
Oh, I love you so much.
Lots of love here.
Yes,
Lots
so
of love.
much love. I can't believe it goes so far back to, with the connection with my husband and everything. It's just so cute. And I had no idea he was the healer that he is. I knew he was a good man, but now I know. Honey, you have another gift.
Yeah.
He has yet to heal me. No, just kidding. He heals me every
he
day. Are
makes
you
you
kidding
whole.
me? He does. He has definitely healed this little poor dysfunctional girl.
You know what? We're all little poor dysfunctional
Right?
souls.
I
And,
honestly, I embrace it. I love it. It makes me love people more. It makes me more compassionate for people because it's like we
Mhm.
all have our stuff, and it's beautiful to come together, sharing the dysfunction, celebrating it, and learning from it. So
I love that. And
Yeah.
I literally want to just put exclamation points after
Mhm.
everything you just said. We are all doing our best.
Mhm.
We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have down days. We're going to disappoint people. We're going to disappoint ourselves. But it's about picking ourselves up and picking each other up, lifting one another, celebrating wins in others as well as our
Mhm.
own wins. These are all things that we are here to do and things that I definitely think contribute a lot to the quality of our life and especially the quality of our health.
Mhm.
So-
And the good news is you can start today and make changes, implement small little things. If you aren't kind of loving where you're at or not feeling your best or being stuck in some of these topics that we've talked about, how awesome that tomorrow can be different by
Mhm.
just little steps in the right direction can take you down a better path, and
Yes.
that is very hopeful and very true.
Yes, small
Yeah.
little steps make a
Mhm.
really big difference. And so I love it. I hope you
Yes.
enjoyed this conversation. It's so fun
Me
always
too.
getting together with Emily. I encourage you girls to connect with Emily in any way that is possible.
Come find me.
Come find her,
me.
hang out with
Follow
her.
the
for a
head
while.
of hair.
She's hard to miss. She's hard to miss. And she's just like a tractor beam. Like people are just
Aw,
attracted to her
that's
good
sweet.
energy. So like I
you.
said, I'll put all of the ways that you can connect with Emily in our show notes. But why don't you share with all of us,
Yeah.
what are some of the best ways to connect with you?
Oh, yes. You can find me on Instagram, Emily Engemann. I know it's a big word and it's a lot of letters. Engemann starts with an E. So Emily, I think you got that down. Engemann. That's how you'll find me on Instagram. I am the same person on TikTok. And my podcast is Little Bits of Awesome. And that's on all your podcast networks. And then if you're, my fitness app, all that you can find on Instagram. That's probably the best place to find me, but spell it right and you'll find me there.
Yes. And then if you get confused, I'll help you out.
Call Cody
call
if you
me
get
up.
confused.
Yep.
She'll lead the way.
I'll send you her way because
Not my phone number, but
I won't share that.
is
Or your
up
address
for
maybe,
grabs.
but no, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you.
Yes, I got a package from you yesterday.
We'll
talk
did
about
they make
that.
your feet feel happy?
Oh, I was going to do a happy dance and then send it to you. It's still coming.
I love
She
it.
sent me a cozy pair of shoes. Yes.
Little
It's
story.
a long story.
It's a long story.
Another podcast.
I love it. I'm glad that they made it to
They
you.
did.
And I hope they
Yes.
make your feet as happy as
Oh,
they make
they
mine.
will. They will. Happy feet.
Well, and I
Mhm.
hope that this conversation has made you girls feel a little bit happier today and understand that you have so much power within you to make your life feel just a little bit more awesome. So thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you girls sharing these episodes with the girls in your life because sharing is caring. And
Ooh,
good one, right?
yeah, Sharing is caring.
Knowledge is power.
Beautiful.
I just drop them like all
I
the things.
love it. Library of goodness.
These are just good little reminders, right?
Absolutely. Keep it simple. That's right.
For more of this nonsense, you can tune in every single Tuesday. We are on all podcast platforms and we are on YouTube as well. And it really helps us out when you give us a like, when you subscribe, when you leave us a rating and review. We appreciate all of that. All right. Until next time, have a very happy and healthy week.
That's right.